What do you know about GM crops?
Nothing. I don't know anything about GM crops. I know what they are, but I don't know how they affect me.
GM crops have more of a place in the developing world.
There is such potential there that we need to be investigating them and we need to be using them.
I don't know anything clever to say about GM.
A larger food production to feed more people for less money.
I don't really know much about genetically modified crops.
To combat famine, droughts, you can develop pest-resistant crops.
But there's a lot of bad things. I mean, we don't know what effect it might have on the environment.
To feed the world, we really need to be using every possible technology that we can.
I don't think I have any strong views either way.
They can increase nutritional value, increase crop yield, farmers are happier, the general economy is a lot better, and because of the recession we're in at the moment, it could potentially help.
Taste might be different, that's all I'm worried about.
Surely the best way would be doing an ad or something so that it didn't affect the environment as a whole.
It would seem from my interviews that those people who have not studied the biological sciences are largely uninformed on the subject of GM crops, or else are guided almost solely by the media in their views. Those with a better understanding of the debate tended to argue the benefits of using GM crops in developing nations, but let's take a look at the facts to see what's really happening, and if possible where the ethics can be found in all of this. Genetic modification is the process by which certain genes that result in desired characteristics are transferred from one organism to another. This allows the grower to achieve a crop which is resistant to a harmful factor of the environment such as pests, or that is otherwise superior. It has the advantage of being far quicker than the process of selectively breeding resistant crops. However, the resultant crop will have no genetic variation between plants, making it susceptible to disease. This is because normally there would be differences in the crop's DNA, allowing some plants to combat the disease better than others, but in a GM crop they would all have the same resistance. The World Health Organization states that all GM foodstuffs currently available are safe to eat beyond reasonable doubt, but that possibilities of long-term effects cannot be ruled out because of how new the science is and the lack of data on it. GM crops can actually provide some health benefits to the consumer if they are modified to contain more vitamins normally lacking in the diet. In the case of the Golden Rice Project, rice has been genetically modified to synthesize beta-carotene, a necessary precursor to provitamin A. It was developed as a humanitarian resource for regions wherein the population was prone to vitamin deficiency, but significant opposition based upon environmental concerns from organisations such as Greenpeace have led to it not currently being available for human consumption. There has been some debate as to the environmental effects of GM agriculture. Primarily, there is the fear that biodiversity in host environments would be dramatically reduced by GM crops. However, this is inevitable in any form of intense farming, and so may be viewed as irrelevant to the current debate. What is more pressing is the idea of potential gene transfer to wild plants. This could hugely change the ecosystem. However, it is predicted that because of the GM specialisation to controlled agricultural environments, these hybrids would not be able to thrive in the wild. Indirect effects are somewhat harder to predict and do pose some risk, but based on the evidence available with regards to consumer health and environmental impacts, I would be encouraged to conclude that GM crops are worth the risk, if it means the ability to feed the world and aid development, providing that new crops are tested rigorously and individually before they are released to the market.